So hello everybody, welcome to this panel on how to find a job in the Bitcoin space. Marek is my name, I'm Bitcoiner since 4 years and also representing the German Bitcoin Association here in Amsterdam. So let's dive and introduce our amazing guests. So we have Kristyna from BTC Inc. Incorporated.
Hi everybody, you already noticed me probably by this
We
time.
have Uthanda from Strike.
Hi everyone.
And Sergi from 2140.
Hey guys, how are you?
Okay, some round of applause for our guests, please. So I'll start with an introduction and also some small question to you. And my question is, how your Bitcoin job journey began? Was it your desire to work in the space, or did it just happen? We start with Kristyna.
Okay, it kind of found me. I wasn't thinking of specifically looking for a job in Bitcoin. So I started to work in Bitcoin in 2019. I'm originally Czech from Prague, so it was easy for me to find opportunity because there's a big hub in Czech Republic of Bitcoin companies. So I started in 2019 and working until now in Bitcoin only.
Great. How about you, Uthanda?
So I joined the space back in 2021, and not many operational roles were available back then. It was mostly just developers. So I believe that you have to be a developer in order to get a job. But yeah, it kind of happened. It found me. I just saw the opening for the senior technical recruiter and decided to apply.
And Sergi, and what's your story?
I'm pretty similar. Like I feel I was not looking for Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin found me. I started working on this in 2015, what feels like ages ago now. I was like fresh out of uni, seeing like what to do with my life. Like I'm a CS major, so I didn't want to like jump into industry and like start as a junior, like working for like a shitty company and like being basically exploited. Yeah. So I thought maybe I can do something better. And I found who ended up being my PhD advisor at the time, and he told me about, I mean, I used to like networks and like decentralized systems and this and that. And I was kind of like doing my undergrad, or sorry, my major at the time that Bitcoin was actually there, but I didn't hear about it much. So he basically introduced me to it, and he was like, have you heard about this? Would you like to like give it a look? And what started as a master's kind of like project ended up being my PhD thesis and like brought me to the space. So I'm grateful for that.
Great, great. Okay, so let's dive to the market insights. So my first question about the market would be, we want to give the audience for sure an accurate overview how the market looks like. And my question is the market still startup-based, or there are some mid-sized companies, let me say 20 people growing that have a lot of opening positions? How you see the market overview now, what's happening? Uthanda.
I think we're halfway there. So there are a lot of startups, but there are also developed companies. I would say that majority is a startup, but you have been in the space since 2015, 2019, 2021. Like those are not startups anymore. So there are many companies who are, not in like super early startup stage, but I think we can still consider them startups.
And I would just say also what is interesting happening now, there's lots of non-endemic companies that are entering in the space and exploring how to interact with Bitcoin. So there's lots of job openings for Bitcoiners in companies that are not originally Bitcoin-based, but are Bitcoin curious, and there's lots of opportunities in that space too.
Yeah, I have to agree, to be honest. Like I feel, as a developer at least, or as someone like working on the technical level of this, back in the day, you didn't have like that many options, right? When I started, if you wanted to work in open source specifically, I mean, you had Blockstream, and like that was basically it. The space has grown a lot, and I feel like the funding opportunities have also like grown a lot. There's a lot of grants that you can get now if you want to like work on your own things. But there are also big companies like interested in this, both from like the Bitcoin space, but also kind of like from the financial kind of like system kind of a space. So now, I mean, I think like it looks pretty good overall.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's talk about a little bit deeper about the position and the companies. So I think many of the people here in the audience are still working in so-called fiat world, but they're already exploring the Bitcoin job market. So my question is, what positions, profiles, and skills the company looking? You said, Tana, there's still this belief that you need to be a developer to work in the space. Is it really true? Or when I'm in a fiat and have good experience in marketing, product management, and the whole finance banking industry is also coming quite because they're recognizing that Bitcoin could be really something valuable and they can make money out of it. How is the positions, environment, profiles looking? Who do the industry look for in the companies right now? Let's start now with Sergi.
I mean, I can only talk about like the technical stuff, right? Like, I mean, I know that there are openings in other areas, and even like within the technical groups, we also like need people like for other roles. I feel like technical people are not the best for outreach, for example. So like we always need like someone to, you know, like do the work that we don't know how to do. But like focusing on the technical stuff, I feel there are openings both for like juniors and senior positions. I feel one of the struggles for years have been trying to like drag people from like the traditional industry to join like our ranks, and in part is because most of the companies that have been like around were considered startups. So if you're like in a comfortable like I don't know like big company position, like you've been like going up the ranks, trying to like switch from like your comfy seat to like join a startup and like go back to like the kind of like the battlefield, and like, you know, it's either like you're really comfortable with it or you're like looking for a challenge or you really believe in what's going on. And that's been a challenge for years. I feel we're doing better with that now, and that's also like something that at 2140 we're trying to do. But also for juniors, like there's a decent amount of like training opportunities going on right now. Like from the top of my mind, there's like the Bitcoin for open source and the BOSS program from Chaincode Labs that basically like pull people that are interested in like working in the space and like train them for a year. So like they are kind of like ready to join like the developer side of the space, right? And they don't ask for anything. Like they're free programs. They don't ask for like any kind of qualifications. Like you go there, you do proof of work. If you're good, you're likely to get a job at the end of the day, right? No one like is gonna ensure you that you're gonna get a job, but at least you're gonna get a chance, right? So yeah, that's how I feel it.
I think very important thing here, there's lots of companies hiring, and they have a need for various positions and professionals, like marketing people, like business people. But there is at least from what I see in BTC Inc. and other fields and companies, there is a gap between you're looking for a professional that knows how to do their job, but you are also looking for someone who understands the industry and who is a Bitcoiner. So that gap needs to be closed because there is lots of professionals that can do their job, but they still don't understand Bitcoin or are not on the mission, I would say. And I think when we discussed this topic, you had a good point when hiring for people. What companies are actually looking for when they're looking for professionals?
Yeah. So just on the market situation, I think the last couple of years we were building. That's why we saw like so many developer jobs available. And now when you see operational jobs like marketing, product, sales, and other stuff, you can tell that like we're happy with the products that we build, and now we're ready to scale. So it's an amazing thing to see. It means that companies are growing, everything is fine. And then on the profiles and everything, we did discuss that, like how important cultural fit is, and that like we're all looking for a Bitcoiner, but then not every Bitcoiner is a good cultural fit. But then again, like there are jobs that require you to have a degree, like you're not going to hire a lawyer from Udemy, right? You're not going to hire an accountant with no degree. Like, there are some jobs that really require you to have a degree, but most of them don't. It's just that, like, how professional you are and, like, what your experience is. And we did talk about, like, fiat world would maybe go with, like, years of experience and then your educational level and your area of expertise, and then cultural fit. Whereas in Bitcoin, it's like cultural fit and your area of expertise would be like number one, and then everything else would be underneath that. And yeah, finding that balance and like, this is a person for the job, they can do the job, but they're a Bitcoiner, they understand. This is where the art of hiring in Bitcoin actually is.
Marek, I have a question for you. What is your experience? Like, what do you see on the market that is happening because you work with Bitvocation?
Yes. So I will also say quite similar. In the past, there were rather small startups, but I now see really how many job offers. So I think over Bitvocation, over the Telegram group, there were like 2,000 or almost 2,000 unique job offers last year. So I think the amount is not so small. And one special thing is that there are a lot of non-developer jobs. This is something special to break this theme that you need to be a developer. So really this is evolving, and I think it will also evolve in the future. So, and to pick up the finance, banking, fintech industry now, what's going on with the treasuries and so on, I think the banking, fintech, there will be a massive push in the next years with new possibilities from this kind of areas, jumping, or somebody of them want to jump to the Bitcoin space. So quite sure. Or how do you see it from the perspective of banking, finance? This is a great possibility for the people to start thinking, perhaps not today, but in the next years, perhaps to do something in the space and to bridge this gap from traditional finance to Bitcoin, or not? What is your take on it?
Well, I would say that it's interesting because at the beginning we had like more traditional programmer having to transition to open source, and now we are talking about traditional finance guy having to transfer to fintech and Bitcoin. So that's an interesting pattern, almost like we are scaling to different industry.
But that's good, right? That means that we are like raising attention and like reaching outside like our own group, right?
Yeah, but what I'm asking myself is like, what do you really need to get a job in Bitcoin? So like it's a curated curriculum. It's the education. Is it the cultural fit? Is it getting out there and starting doing internships or projects, freelance, or should I start looking for a serious job right away?
Say there's no recipe. There's nothing that like we can give you a checklist and then like do this, and that, and you're getting a job. I think it's a mix, but like we have to do everything. We have to network. We have to contribute. If you're a developer, you're going to contribute to open source. But like then the natural question is, what if I'm not a developer? What do I do? You can always offer your brain to a project on a voluntary basis or on a part-time project, whatever, just to like gain some experience. Culture is very important. We talked about that too, but I always stress how industry you're coming from. Like that's important too, because, and I always take healthcare, for example. I don't know why, but if you're coming from healthcare and you want to do fintech, even though the title of the job is the same, the job itself is not the same. So what the solution is, it's a process. Getting a job in Bitcoin is most likely a process for everyone. So just switch the tech. Whatever you do, if you're in healthcare, try get like a healthcare tech version of your jobs. Like whatever the industry is, maybe like trying to to go to tech version of that and then get yourself closer. That's usually what I see as like successful road to getting a job. Of course, along with networking and contributing and everything.
I mean, to me, I feel like something that goes a long way, apart from like showing up and like doing the work, and like it's kind of like the attitude that you have towards it, right? When you see like someone who has been like working on like something completely different, but is like willing to like change like careers and like be like, oh, I've been in fintech for the last like 5-10 years, but like this doesn't motivate me anymore, or I want to like start working on this other thing, right? Like at the end of the day, from the developer side, and I know that this is quite different from like other jobs, no one cares about like your degrees, no one cares about like your, I mean, your experience is interesting, right? But like whether you went to Harvard or like Princeton or like, I don't know, you were like homeschooled, no one cares. Like I have a PhD, I've never used my PhD anywhere in my like work life, right? I don't even mention it, like no one cares. Mm-hmm. But if you're there, you do the work, you are like super proactive, you, like whoever is like looking for people see that you're actually like willing to, you know, work for it. I mean, you have a better shot than like 99% of the people. I mean, if at the end of the day you're shitty, you're not going to get it. But like, I'm just saying, like, if you have skills, like, you know, the attitude goes a long way. So.
Yeah, great. So let's make one step in the future. And I think the environment and the job market and the space is really developing good. So I think in the next years there will be more positions coming, perhaps also new positions. So my question is, when somebody already looking for the Bitcoin space but not want to start now, but in 1-2 years in the future, what skills and practical experience should they start acquiring today already to be ready in 1-2 years when they will apply and want to enter the market? So I have some buzzwords like AI, deeper Bitcoin knowledge, communication skills, so on. What do you think? What is really important, and what do you see also in the next years? What will get more important, or perhaps some nuance? So I think AI. We can start with AI. AI is a great topic.
Well, I think the first step everybody who is here already got. I think the networking and becoming part of the community is a big part of how to think about that. Also, when you become part of the community, not that you just network and know other individuals and potential employers, but you also get a notion of the culture, because the culture is not something that you can, you know, find on Twitter, or, well, you do find a but very specific part of the culture on Twitter. So you get to know the culture, and culture is learned, is not just automatically gained. So expose yourself to opportunities like events, like, you know, community meetings, and even online networking opportunities. Study Bitcoin. I think if you want to work in Bitcoin, you will have to understand it. Even if you are not a technical person, you will have to go down the rabbit hole technically a little bit. And I think the overall curiosity and critical thinking is very important in Bitcoin space, in any emerging industry, but in Bitcoin specifically, it's very important. So be curious. Learn about AI if that's something that drives your curiosity. Learn about fintech or other, you know, technologies. But yeah, I think Bitcoin it's the basic.
Sergi, so how you see the AI topic in terms of development and your working area? Will in the next 2-3 years, will the AI agents be doing coding and you can relax and do something else?
I don't think so. Like, personal experience, like people may say I'm biased, you know, because like I may not get a job in 3 years, but like I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
I think those are tools and like people can use them, like they're useful to some extent, but I don't think they're going to replace us like anytime soon, if ever. But like talking about what you should be like learning, like preparing for and this and that, like as Sandro mentioned before, I don't think there's a recipe for success, right? If I will tell you like my story, you couldn't like use my story for you because like I started like 10 years ago and that doesn't work anymore. I can like state things that I find that are important and it may go a long way if you focus on those, but again, it's not going to be like do this, this and that and then you're going to be like rock star in like 3 years. the one thing that developers here or people who are like into the tech space may hate me for, do math. Like when I was in my undergrad, I used to hate like a lot of the math thing that I was doing. Like I liked math to some extent, but like I now, like in retrospective, I would have loved spending more time like getting really good at math, right? Cryptography specifically, but also like probability distributions and like just understanding how to like properly do math and like prove theorems and this and that. That doesn't mean that you're going to have to like do that on your daily basis, but it's going to make your job better, right? But I also ask this myself, like, what can we do to make like this better for like the people who are coming in the next like 2 or 3 years? And I think like one of the things that was not the best in the space up until like recently was the job stability, right? I mean, as a developer, you either like find a big company that is hiring, and then maybe you get like some kind of stability, or you go through the grant programs, right? And those are good, but those normally last a year, and then they are like up for renewal, and you have to be like kind of like looking for like funding every year or every other year or something like that. And that's one of the reasons why I joined 2140, because what we're trying to do now is like offering long-term support for like people who have been like working in the space for a while. Apart from like, you know, also like grabbing new people and train them, like we should be able to provide certainty in jobs if we are looking for people to like change careers from like, you know, comfortable positions. So that's kind of like on us though.
Yeah. And Tana, how you see the new future at Strike and perhaps on the Bitcoin job market in general? What do you see? What skills are already important or will be important in the near future?
I expect to see more operational roles across the industry, but I also expect to see more developer jobs because we're going to build more, right? So I expect it to grow overall. I would like to add to your point, guys, I always like to give like a higher overview just from like hiring perspective. Yes, what you said, yes, but also write cover letters, not a story, just like a short cover letter to let people know you are a Bitcoiner, you're one of us, right? Put Bitcoin as your interest somewhere in your resume, that's also good. So like we know when we read it, like we know it's a Bitcoiner. And pick your expertise. Don't just apply to anything like, oh, I can do customer service. Why do people think customer service is so easy? Like, you're literally dealing with someone's money and their challenges or issues and problems with their money. Like, it's not an easy job. Or like, oh, I can do this or I can do that. And then you just fall into that trap of like applying to every single job you see. Don't do that. Just pick your expertise, you know, grow yourself, develop your skills in that area, and just stay in that lane. So I would just like to add that.
And what if you want to change, you know, the position that you're right now in?
We had that conversation. Yeah, that's. It's always a challenging topic. I think it's totally possible. It's totally doable. But if you're just entering the space, mind you, a lot of these companies are startups. They have no time to hold your hand. They have no time to babysit you, to like mentor you. Usually they need you to hit the ground running day one. And if you just change your job, are you able to hit the ground running day one? Most likely not. So my conclusion is always like, get into the space with the skills you already have, and then build on top of that. Like, while you're already in, maybe then you can try and like learn a new skill or like shift towards something else. But shifting towards something else and then trying to get into the industry, I think it's kind of like lowering the chances just because of experience. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I find it challenging. I had lots of friends that were, you know, put in one box and kind of trying to break out of it, and it was very difficult for them. And changing the industry helped, actually, because they were in tech and they moved to something different. But for me, I always did PR and communication, so for me it was the first part, like changing from different industry to Bitcoin. So I don't have any answer to that. any tips?
I think it's possible. Like, I started as an academic, and like my job kind of like involved developing to some extent, right? Like shitty code, but developing. So I feel like it was kind of like coupled already, and like switching from one side to the other was not that hard. But again, like I'm a big believer that you can change careers, like even midway through your life if you are willing to do the job.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy, but I think.
But we already discussed that, like, our stories are not applicable nowadays.
Yeah, that's
because
fair.
yours was 10 years ago, mine was
That's fair.
4 years ago, yours was
Don't
5
say
years
that.
ago. Like, open, just for fun, like, try to open a senior technical recruiter position anywhere and see how many applications you're going to have.
Yeah, I mean, of
Yeah,
course
it's
you're
not
not
that
going to
easy
be able.
anymore.
Of course, you're not going to be able to just like switch from your senior to another senior like straight away because like you're lagging like some of the things, right? You're going to take a hit, but if you're willing to take it, like sure.
I also don't want this to sound like you are too late for Bitcoin.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah, no. no.
Like I think they have it like way easier than we did to a lot of extent. Like the funding situation for development right now is like 1,000,000 times better than it used to be like 15 years ago. Like.
And also, like, back in our day, you had one job, like one operational role to like 20 developer roles.
Right.
Now, the situation is kind of different. So I think it was like easier to some extent for us to get into the industry, but I think this generation has it easier on another front. Like, there are more jobs available, there are more conferences, more networking options. I think like it's overall.
Also,
It's
you
a
can
balance.
pick between if you want to truly work for startup, because I think one thing that you mentioned, not here, but when we discussed this topic, was get ready to work for a startup because it's a completely different environment and it's a leap of faith leaving your, cozy job to a startup job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you because we're running out of the time. So conclusion, final statement. So when there is one really important aspect you want the audience to take away from this panel today. So please keep it short because we're running out of time. One aspect, what will it be in terms of development and looking for the job? One aspect. Kristyna.
Study Bitcoin, become part of the community, network. That's the basics from me.
Uthanda.
Learn about startups, learn if that's the culture you need for yourself, study Bitcoin, network, write cover letters.
Sergi.
Like contribute to open source. Like GitHub is your best resume if you're a developer. So just like show up, do the work, and show the world that you are willing to do it.
So I want to thank you really. So all of you are free. When you have some questions too, please take your time. You have two days for networking, speaking. Use this time. We said networking is, I think, also really, really important. So please, when you have some questions, feel free to ask it. We're here the next 2 days. And yeah, thank you so much for this outlook. And for all of you, yeah, great conference, great days in Amsterdam, and network like crazy. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.